parsha of haazinu has a special quality to it because out of all of the parshas of the Torah, it's the only one that's mentioned in the Talmud as how to divide the aliyot. The rule generally is that any 3 psukim suffices for an aliyah, and that we always try to end on a positive note, so to speak, but that the division is flexible, and there are different customs in different communities within the Jewish people as to where the stops, so to speak, where the end of the aliyah should be. So there's a flexibility there. But here, the Talmud mentions the gemora in Rosh Hashanah already, so it's very ancient. We're talking about 4th, maybe 5th century in Bavel. So, Bavel read the Torah, finished it in 1 year, which is our custom. In Eretz Yisrael, they finished it in 3 years. They divided it up. They only completed it once in 3 years. But the custom of Simchat Torah, which has overtaken everything, so we no longer have communities that read the Torah over 3 years. So it's the custom of Bavel that we read it over 1 year and complete it. But here the Gemara says that the division of the parshas in the parsha of haazinu, so they gave a siman to it. Hey Zayin Yud Vov Lamed Chof Hazayu L'cha. Now, naturally, since we're talking about Jews, they only said the first letter. And so therefore there arose 2 or 3 variations within haazinu itself, especially regarding the Yud, which parsha should be read and where it should begin. But it's an established custom, and those are the divisions of the parshas. And because of that, therefore, we don't make hosofos on parshas haazinu, shiva kruim, and we try. We follow the shita of Rashi as to where the Hey Zayin Yud Vov Lamed Chof, which parshas they refer to. Now, in the parsha of haazinu, there is a section of tochacha. There's a section that describes strong punishments. Omarti afeim, I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to that very hard things are said. So there are 2 pshatim in the gemora already, again, as to who this is addressed to. Who is God warning? So it's one opinion is that he's talking to the Jewish people. In other words, this is a continuation of everything that was said from Kitovo onwards. Kitovo, Nitzavim, Vayelech, all of these dire statements continue in haazinu. And that it's all, so to speak, one long tochacha regarding the Jewish people. The opinion in the Gemora, in the Medrash really, Rabbi Yehuda says that it refers to the nations of the world, doesn't refer to the Jewish people. It refers to the day of judgment, so to speak, to the fact that the Lord will kaviyochel wreak vengeance on the nations of the world for their sins and for their treatment of the Jewish people. And therefore, all of those statements refer to the nations of the world. They do not refer to Klal Yisrael. So what is interesting to note is that Rashi apparently didn't want to choose between the two interpretations. So first he gives the interpretation that it refers to the Jewish people and that it's a continuation of the Tochachot that existed in the previous parsha. And then he goes back again, which is really unusual for Rashi. He repeats the entire commentary to the verses, and he applies them to the nations of the world, according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So, the simple explanation is that they're both true. We are a living witness as to what has happened to us over all of the centuries, and even in modern times. And that that part is well understood and can be appreciated, and that this is a prediction that the nations of the world will also come to hard times, will not escape unscathed for their behavior and for everything that they did. So Rashi quotes both, and he quotes it at length. In other words, it's not, doesn't say there's a yesh omrim here, or a cherim omrim. Others say, Rashi just starts again, the whole parsha over again, and interprets it according to Rabbi Yehuda, which is a very rare thing for Rashi. Rashi is usually concise, he doesn't add to things. And here, it's a whole new parish, word for word again, because he is undoubtedly doesn't want to choose between the perushim. And so he feels that they're both equal. And because they're both equal, so therefore he devotes the entire interpretation to each, so that one has it as a whole. And he doesn't even say they disagree. Just says this is one, and this is one, and this is the way we should understand it. But the end will be that Jewish people will not only survive, but prosper. And that's the last parsha of the Torah that we read on the Simchas Torah, V'zos HaBrocha, which contains all the brochas that are necessary for life and for success. Rabbi Chananya ben Akasha Omer Rotza Kadosh Baruch Hu L'zakas Yisrael V'cha Achivol Lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Adonai Chavchet Saman Tzidko Yagdil Torah.